Hello guys, and welcome to the White Rabbit Trading Channel. Before we begin, please take a moment to read the disclaimer below. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor and everything here is for educational purposes only. Alright, let's dive in. Previously, we were looking for a potential bounce and continuation to the upside if the structure remained intact. The target was the resistance level, where I had an order block and the smallest average monthly gain level of 10.14%, with a few more levels slightly higher. The average smallest move was reached, which lined up well with the timing I mentioned before. On average, tops tend to form around day 12. In uptrends, it happens around day 13, while in election years, it's around day 8, and in downtrends, it's usually around day 9. So, we had this time window to watch if price reached resistance and showed signs of a reversal. There were some signs, like Bitcoin breaking out of the local range by making a daily structure break. Also, the fact that we've seen several green candles in a row suggests that the time for a red one might be near. A few other factors have come into play as well, such as the possibility of a high forming on Tuesday. On Monday, it formed poor highs, and I was looking for another sweep of that daily candle. Well, that happened overnight for me, so I got into the move a bit later, as the initial move had already started. I entered based on bearish CVD divergence a bit later. Of course, there were a few levels where Bitcoin could have formed a higher low. For example, at the local SR level, where it could have made a retest and continued up. But there was no reaction, and I got stopped out on some long positions there. The next level to watch was the previous support, which also didn't give much of a reaction and just kept grinding down. That eventually brought us to the January low, which was formed on January 1st. While that could have been the low, it got taken out, giving us a new yearly low. So now, everything we anticipated has played out, but the retrace happened faster and deeper than expected, as the market took out a lot of stops on the way down. That brings us to where we are now. Let's talk about statistics and timing. On the upside, everything played out perfectly, price hit the levels within the correct time window. Now, regarding January's lows, the average low could form around day 12. In uptrends, the low forms around day 8 or 9, and in downtrends, it's usually around day 19. Since the move down happened so fast, it means the high was formed at the right time, but the low formed the very next day. So technically, we're still within the time window for a potential low, starting from yesterday and lasting until Sunday, the 12th. It could even stretch to Monday, as these are averages. From a technical perspective, this is very interesting to figure out. Now, let's look at key levels and scenarios to see if Bitcoin could form a low here or if we'll see continuation deeper into the month. The most obvious thing to watch now is the daily time frame, as Bitcoin is sitting at a support level after a daily structure break. The support areas on the way down are levels where a potential higher low could be formed. For this to happen, we need to see reactions and structure shifts on the lower time frames, leading to a move up to reclaim the previous high and confirm not just a structure break, but a full market structure change, with new invalidation levels. Right now, support is holding, but we haven't seen any significant moves to change the structure. Until we see that, there's always the possibility of continuing the lower timeframe structure and making another move down. If that happens, it could lead to an SFP of this level. If price closes above and changes structure, we could still confirm a low at a later stage. If this also aligns with the time window for forming the monthly low, it would be perfect. We could then see a move up, and the market would make its next decision, whether it rejects at the previous broken level and heads down again, or whether it retraces, forms another higher low, and continues up. The other scenario is a move up from here. We could see another SFP, but if this level holds and structure changes, it would lead to a similar scenario where we'd then watch how price reacts at higher levels. Of course, if we see structure changes, I'll be looking to enter or to add positions from the SFP TARD. For the local levels, we have the support level on the downside, And on the upside, the sloppy move down highs with a local order block and the average gain for today. I'd be watching for either a reaction at that level or a reclaim. Now, let's discuss the possibility of Bitcoin taking longer to form the monthly low. If I don't see any structure changes on the lower time frames and the daily candle starts closing below these levels without an SFP, it would indicate a structure break. And if the weekly candle also closes below the previous open or low, it could suggest that any bounce would likely form a lower high. This could lead to a rejection and a move toward lower monthly levels, where Bitcoin might spend more time before forming a bottom. There are a lot of trader stops at these levels, so the reaction could vary. It might be a tap-and-go move, an SFP, or a deeper move into the monthly average loss levels. We also discussed the possibility of a longer range. As long as the current level holds, that's still valid. For now, we've seen a move up, and Bitcoin could continue ranging, or we might see a deviation, similar to what we saw on the upside before, but now on the lower side. Let's quickly check the momentum levels. On the 1-hour chart, Bitcoin needs to close above 94,300 to cross up. If it makes a new low and just forms an SFP, it could create divergence. On the 4-hour and 6-hour charts, Bitcoin needs to close above 93,400. So, there's still a chance for a move up if structure changes. On the 12-hour chart, a close above 100K is needed, which is unlikely right now, but this number will adjust on the next close in about an hour. We'll continue to observe how this progresses. That's it for today's update. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll keep you updated as the market develops. Until then, trade safe, and I'll see you in the next one.